If there's one part of the world that has sustained more damage, well, perceptionally speaking, than Venezuela in Trump's attack, it is the United Kingdom and the European Union. A continent that ruled the rest of the world less than a century ago has now been reduced in many people's minds to groveling pathetically in front of Trump. And it is truly an epic and historic sight. When Russia crossed into Ukraine, European leaders found their voice instantly. Moral outrage, thunderous speeches, billions in weapons, red lines, ultimatums, Keir Starmer, Kaja Kallas, Emmanuel Macron, Berlin, Brussels, all loud, all righteous, all absolutely certain about international law, sovereignty, and the rules-based order. But when the United States does something similar in Venezuela, the same leaders suddenly develop a bit of a stutter. It's embarrassing, cringeworthy, how tame nearly every single European leader has managed to sound in the last 48 hours. Statements are vague, language is soft, condemnation disappears, and don't get me started on how these leaders in Europe and the UK have sounded on Trump directly talking about taking Greenland. They have completely whitewashed it. They have abandoned a NATO ally. They've talked about monitoring closely. They've talked about waiting for all the facts. They've talked about being concerned about escalations. Not a single sharp word aimed at Washington in support of their ally. Starmer's Britain rushes to clarify it wasn't involved in what happened in Venezuela. The EU talks about the Venezuelan people while carefully tiptoeing around the man who ordered the operation. Not a single word about Greenland. Europe's global leadership was dead some decades ago, metaphorically speaking. This was merely a reminder in most people's view. This is a continent that has never hesitated to lecture the global south, including India, about democracy, borders, and intervention. A continent that made moral instruction its favorite export. Yet, faced with the US president they cannot domesticate, Europe shrinks into itself in a historic way. To be fair, Europe's anxiety, not saying a word, being very, very careful, even when Trump says he will take a part of Denmark, is understandable at one level. Trump has made it clear that even NATO allies aren't safe. Denmark is watching nervously as Greenland is casually discussed like a real estate asset. Now, post-World War II treaties, alliances, taboos, Trump has shown that he would rather treat them with open irreverence. And the snooty, highbrow politics of Europe just doesn't know how to deal with it. And that is why Europe is paralyzed in some ways. If you look at the British media right now, it is embarrassing. MP after MP, minister after minister, the Prime Minister, other leaders are simply unwilling to say a single word about Trump threatening a NATO ally. This is every man and woman for themselves now. No collective spine, no shared courage. Just quiet, pathetic groveling to stay on the right side of American power in the form of Trump at this time.